You are listening to Hex, The Fall of Aethria, a Galleria Editagio production. Our story begins with Chapter 1. Laíla awakens to the smell of smoke. She shoots up on her mattress in a panicky sweat. Flames dance off the edges of her woolen mattress. She covers her nose and swats at the fires. Coughs escape her throat. Her eyes water. Then suddenly, she is drenched. She wipes her now soaking wet hair from her face. Her blurred eyes dart around, looking for the perpetrator. Finally, her older brother, Rêverie, comes into view. He holds the offending bucket, the look on his face unreadable. She sucks in a breath, ready for the usual lecture. Instead, the corners of Rêvérie's mouth break into a smirk as he turns and walks away. "I have to say, Laíla," he calls back over his shoulder, "I grow tired of foiling your attempts at burning down our home." Laíla sighs, though whether it's one of relief or one of annoyance is unclear. Another dream, she thinks to herself. She runs a hand over her now frayed mattress. The wool thankfully remained mostly intact, but the hay pallet was done for. The third one she'd had to make in only a fortnight. Of all the people to find her, one could suppose Rêverie was one of the safer options. A lecture from her sister would surely have made them miss daybreak worship. Laíla's gaze crosses the tent to her parents' larger mattress, and then either side to those of her two siblings. It seems, despite being just as vivid, this dream did not bear the same severe side effects as the others. One was so bad she nearly set fire to the entire camp, let alone her own bed. With a shake of her head, Laíla dismisses the memories of nightmares past. She quickly gets up from her singed mattress and opens her chest to pull out a tunic for the day. It is still dark when she eventually emerges from the family's tent. She follows behind the clusters of her brethren making their way to the gathering circle at the camp center. She can feel several pairs of eyes bearing into her as she weaves her way over to take her place behind her siblings on the very inside of the circle. Her older sister, Janaiah, offers her a small smile. Laíla makes her best attempt at returning the gesture, but comes up short. She instead decides to focus her efforts into sunrise vigil. Daybreak is a crucial time for the Moorian people, the nomadic body to which Laíla and her family belong. Individuals, couples, and families alike gather together just before sunrise in anticipation to await the dawn and lend praise to Moora, the goddess of light. Laíla closes her eyes to begin the first portion of the worship sequence, Eriunjod, lamentation, a time when the people of the sun bring forth the matters closest to their hearts. Laíla first starts at a low whisper, allowing her concerns to blend in with the hushed chants of her peers, concerns of famine and fertility, migration and safety. All Laíla had ever asked of Moora was to remove whatever it was inside her that caused her to burn everything she touched, that she might feel more like a valued member of her tribe and less like a tolerated hindrance. One less reminder of how different she was to everyone else. But day after day she prays, and morning after morning she comes one step closer to burning her family alive. "Imva prista," she whispered. "Mementelo I criesti men da pusta nulla miliumira." I ask you, destroy me and create a new person, my light. Laíla clasps her hands together with the desperation of a famished bear. She whispers the prayer again, with more force than the last. And again. And again. She's only stopped by the blowing of the horn. From the outer edge of the circle walks her father, Satie, clad in the ceremonial robe handed down through generations of Moorian chiefs. He walks barefoot to the sundial, the epicenter of Moorian worship. Laíla rises to her feet as her father walks by her. When he reaches the center, he turns to take in his people. Laíla catches his eye. He winks. Her face breaks into a smile. Satie quickly composes himself, however, and blows the horn once more before turning around to lead the daybreak prayer in God's tongue. "Nuliumira," he sings. "We come to greet you in the darkness of the unknown. Illuminate the path beneath our feet. May we make proper use of this new day you give to us. May you shine through us in action and word. May others come to know the warmth of your glow. We ask you, let your brilliance be seen throughout this realm. For those who could not wait to greet you, may your light shine perpetually on their souls. We ask you, let all who slumber in darkness come to live in light. Draw near to those who beseech you, those who suffer, those who mourn, those who lament, those who are scorned, those who are silent, those who are lame. May they cling to you, one and the same. It is believed that the preservation of the first language of the realm keeps one close to the divine, and that addressing a deity in their native tongue is the ultimate respect. The very idea that Moora could choose not to light the realm and allow it to slip into the cold of darkness weighs heavily on the Moorian people, so they make sure to greet her at the start of each day and to bid her farewell at the end of each night. The tribe turns to face the sun as it begins to peek out from the horizon. They wait with bated anticipation as the dawn breaks through the dusk and ascends into the sky. Said pridefully turns to face his brethren, lifting his hands to the sky. May the light of Moora beam on each and every one of you, he beams. As other members of the tribe begin to pass the blessing, Janaiah whips around and pulls Laíla into a fierce hug. May the light of Moora beam on you, sister. Laíla stiffens within her sister's arms for a brief moment. Eventually she softens. And on you, she smiles. Before either of them can say anything else, two big arms engulf them both, lifting them just barely off the ground. Laíla manages to turn her head just enough to see her father smiling down at them. My beautiful daughters, Said booms. Should I bother to bless you? You both already shine brighter and brighter each morning. He places a kiss on both Laíla's cheeks, and then on Janaiah's. Truly, father, Janaiah groans, must you start so early in the morning? Despite his large stature and stern countenance, Said has a very well-known soft spot for his children, but that softness is 100-fold for his two daughters. Oh, come now, Janaiah, he croons. As your father, it is my duty to set the standard for whoever dares ask me for your hand one day. Laíla manages to pry herself from her father's embrace only to end up in that of Rêvérie's. Out of the corner of her eye, she spies Iskali joining their fray. Her stomach drops. She usually has no quarrels with her brother's oldest friend, but lately, she has not been able to quell the notion Iskali might resent her. This was not always the case. In fact, there was once a time when she saw Iskali as another brother. When they were young, it was he that always suggested changes to a game, so it was easier for her to play. He would even allow Laíla to ramble on about her latest dream. He would always make sure to act amused even when her dream sounded absolutely far-fetched. But life has aged Iskali quite a bit since those days. His once carefree nature that used to rival Rêvérie's has hardened to an unyielding rigidity. I pity the fool who tries to make such a request, Rêvérie jests, a sly grin on his face. Laíla could be mistaken, but she might have seen a brief panic wash over Iskali's face. He recomposes himself so quickly it is hard to truly tell. Still, Laíla senses a particular freneticism about him. She quietly observes as he shifts from side to side. I suppose one must be able to accept a high risk if he wishes to receive a high reward, Iskali muses. Rêvérie flashes a strange glance at his friend. Another fleeting moment Laíla is given little time to fully interpret. May the light of Moora beam brighter than the blaze you set upon your mattress this morning, sister, Rêvérie smirks. It takes Laíla everything she can not to set her brother ablaze. Janaiah's face contorts into concern. With each passing day it becomes more and more eerie how similar she looks to their mother. Laíla, it happened again, Janaiah asks. I thought the tonic was helping. She'd have to drink it for that to happen, Rêvérie prattles. Laíla considers her words for a moment. Most days she can bear to put up with her brother's usual chides without blowing her fuse. She could just as easily joke about how close her brother seemed to always stand to Iskali, or perhaps how his gaze always lingered on him for just a moment too long. Instead, she exhales and braves the most reassuring smile she can muster. Rêvérie, however, cannot miss the smoke slowly wafting from the shoulder seams of her tunic. He smiles apologetically. Laíla sighs.
The damage was minor this time, I promise. Laíla, Inara warns. It was minor this time. The same cannot be said for the next time if you don't use the measures put in place to help you.
Here we go, Laíla thinks to herself. She looks at her father for help, but Iskali clears his throat.
I agree with Yenara, he says.
Just how long do you think it will be before one of your dreams endangers us all? If it hasn't already, of course. Iskali, Laíla has been working very hard to try and tame her abilities, Saeed calmly interjects. Yenara glares darkly at Rêvérie's friend. Laíla's stomach sinks further. She has no desire to witness another round of this particular concern. Duomo, I only speak out of concern, Iskali replies. Despite your best efforts, Laíla's affliction remains a threat to us all. The investigation into the fall, Yenara snaps, was a full turn ago. When Iskali looks at her, there is no mistaking the sadness speaking through his stony exterior. The fall changed everything, he replies. Laíla's eyes lower to the ground. Iskali speaks of the fall of Aethria, a tragedy that still beleaguers the entire realm even after a full turn of the sun. She remembers when the news reached the camp. Tens of thousands of people were lost. It is said that while some had managed to escape the fires, others had not been so lucky. High-ranking merchants, children, even Quinta, the Eye of Moora, was not spared. Hundreds of families traveled from the furthest reaches of the realm to look for their lost loved ones in the aftermath, even if just to recover their bodies for proper burial. The memory alone is enough to send a shiver down Laíla's spine. Iskali's own parents had made their pilgrimage to Aethria around that time. Each day he would ride out to the city for hours on end. When he wasn't searching the ruins, he would stand watch at the edge of the camp, waiting, hoping. His parents never returned, nor were their bodies ever recovered. It is for that reason Laíla does not begrudge Iskali for his ire.
Every day she grows even more powerful, Iskali pleads. The Emberish have already decided the suspect is a Moorian. For nearly 2 fortnights I have heard whispers of armies raiding other camps, entire tribes disappearing without a trace.
I am aware of the current situation, Saeed quips as he rubs a hand over his now tired face. He too remembers that dreadful day. It was only a few fortnights prior that he lost his wife and second son in their childbed. Iskali's parents were good friends. They helped carry him and his children through that loss. Remembering this, Saeed softens. There has been so much loss to go around. But my daughter is a member of this tribe. Her safety is our safety. All due respect, Duomo Saeed, Iskali replies. In my parents' place, my first responsibility is to my sisters. Their futures, their safety. My sister is not a threat to anyone's safety, Yenara hisses. And you know it. She places a protective hand on Laíla's shoulder. It is hot to the touch, but not painful. Laíla can feel her older sister's worried eyes boring into her, but she keeps her gaze trained to the ground and tries to steady her breathing. Yenara notices Remy's eyes also stay firmly trained on his shoes. Yenara, today it's a tent, Iskali argues. Tomorrow it could be the camp, or our livestock, or the entire godswood. Moora will protect us, as she always does. Laíla struggles to steady herself. She knows well the consequences of participating in this argument, of allowing her emotions to get the best of her. But the anguish bubbles inside her. She imagines this is what a volcano feels like before it's allowed its release. She will protect us, Iskali says slowly. But Laíla is not Moora's to claim, and so... Laíla quickly looks up. Silence falls upon the entire camp as people see what the commotion is about. Iskali slowly raises his face to meet Yenara's fierce gaze. His cheeks flare a fiery red. It is unclear whether it is from the stinging of his cheek or the embarrassment of having been slapped by a girl in front of everyone. If Yenara feels even a shred of guilt at having embarrassed him, it does not show. She stares him down, eyes narrowed. You will mind your tongue in my sister's presence. Yenara's threat is so calm she frightens even her own family. Iskali visibly swallows his pride. You know I'm right, Yenara, he whispers to no avail.
Duomo, I understand she is your daughter, but we are also your brethren.
Saeed pulls Laíla close and wraps his arms protectively around her. He ignores the patches of the ground where grass used to stand. You forget yourself, Iskali, he loudly proclaims. I will choose to ignore the implications you have made against my daughter. Take Inara's slap as a mercy, for you will not receive another. Iskali looks over to Rêverie. His eyes plead for support. Rêverie shifts awkwardly, but eventually clears his throat. Forgive him, father. He only wants what is best for our people. Inara scoffs. He needs to remember his place, she says as she looks into Iskali's eyes. Understanding he has been beaten, Iskali tips his head and sulks away. Yevo ruhro, Inara spits as she watches Iskali go. Stupid boy. Saeed casts a stern look at his firstborn. She instantly softens. Their mother thoroughly disliked name-calling. His discerning gaze then migrates over to Rêverie, who does not dare look up. It is much too early for him to see the look of disappointment upon his father's face. One day, Saeed says quietly, all you three will have is each other. Remember that. He then walks away, leaving the three siblings to themselves. Inara wastes no time once their father is safely out of earshot. Yes, Rêverie, she hisses. One day you will have to pry your head out from Iskali's ass. Father is right, Laíla finally manages to squeak. We should not fight. It is the Nightcrawler's way to succumb to chaos, not ours. I for one hope someone does come to sweep you off your feet and far away from here, dear sister. Rêverie jeers, clearly having not heard Laíla. It's time someone else endured your constant whinging. Laíla knows once her siblings begin to bicker, there is no other path except that of defeat. So, she decides to take her loss as it is and walk away. She tries to recall the last time her family was truly happy. No looming threats, no arguments. It is times like this she feels neither her brother nor her sister truly appreciate the freedom they have to get angry. To scream and yell and have everything stay perfectly the same. To not have to fight that temptation at every turn. To never worry about overexciting themselves. Laíla tries not to dwell too much on it, however. She would much rather burn the ground beneath her feet with her skin than incinerate the ones she loves with her anger. We have reached our conclusion for today's chapter, but our story is far from over. If you have enjoyed your time in the realm, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss your summons when a new chapter arrives. For those who would look beyond the next horizon, the tale continues on Substack. The chapters yet to be recorded are already waiting there, should you wish to journey ahead. It is our hope to spread this tale to travelers far and wide, so if you know someone who might enjoy the journey, we invite you to bring them along. And until next time, remember, enjoy the world as it is, for you never know what it could become.